Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending this very special presentation of the Google Universe web series. My name is G. William James, your host for all things Google, and today we're going to venture into one of my favorite apps of the Google Universe. Of all the mobile tools, I think Gmail is one of my favorites, not because it's just email, because it's far more than just email. It has so many components that you can use for convenience, for organization, and for automation. And those are the things that I talk about when I am advocating using these tools, whether you're in your office or you're on the go, because these tools will give you the capability of continuing to communicate with your public, to market to your prospects, to um, provide information to individuals, even though you may be busy doing other things. So Gmail has a lot of those functions that we're going to talk about today, and it is a perfect complement to all the things that we will be talking about moving forward. Now, last week, we talked about Google Contacts and CRM, and this is the next logical step in creating our, what I call my mobile global office. I hope that you have taken the time and that you are working toward building your CRM. I get those emails, and I've had a couple of people saying that they've been very successful with a question here or two about creating and importing and exporting, which is perfectly fine. And I want you to continue to do that. And if you haven't started yet, don't worry about it, but just go ahead and get started. Even if you're just doing one a day, that's one more that you had done before. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. And as always, I will give you information on how to keep in contact with me. You can always email me directly through my website at gwilliamjames.com, or you can reach me directly through my email, or this is actually my Gmail address, william@gwilliamjames.com. And then, of course, there's my social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and the one that's not here, Instagram. So you can always find me on any of those platforms. And I've been promising that I was going to start contributing a lot more on the social media space. I actually got somebody who's going to actually help me with that. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and who knows better than a person under 20 how to master social media. So she's going to help me to start creating content and getting it posted up. So you can actually connect with me on any of those social media platforms, and you'll get my updates as they come out. I'm not going to go through all of this about who I am and where I've been, because we've already, been through that. It's on every presentation that I do, but it is good to introduce myself to people so they know that I've been around in this business for a very long time, and I've watched the evolution of these tools, which is why I get so excited about it. So I need you to send me an email right now to this email address, william@gwilliamjames.com. And in the subject line, I simply want you to write Gmail Secrets 2020. This is one of the most powerful tools that is available in Gmail. I'm going to teach it to you today. When I talked about automation, this is one of the things that I had in mind about how you can create certain steps and certain functions that will automatically happen when certain things come into your email box. So when this comes in from you to my email box, it's going to send out a reply directly to you, and it's going to be chock full of links and information that would be beneficial to you today. For example, the handouts here, the chapter on Gmail out of my book, The Google Universe, is here and needs to be updated, but what you have is going to be.
I can hear you now, but you were coming in and out.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah,
Yep.
my internet.
Nope.
Can't hear.
Can't hear you now.
Me either.
Okay, I had to unmute
Can't hear
myself.
you now because you're on.
Yeah, you guys should be able to hear me just fine now. Okay, so I'm going to hold my hands in prayer that the network doesn't continue to knock me off. It looks like
Yes.
I've got a pretty good connection, but it has been a little problematic for me. So let's go ahead and move on. And again, as I mentioned before, that's a little bit combination of what I am doing and what Zoom is doing. So it's taking up an awful lot of resources on the network to connect me to the presentation, and I'm hoping that it's going to allow us to continue. All right, so moving forward, I want you to send me an email to this address, william@gwilliamjames.com. In the subject line, simply type Gmail Secrets 2020, and in just a little while, I'm going to show you how to create this for yourself, and it's going to be so beneficial to you moving forward. All right, so when I talk about the Google Universe, I'm speaking of a suite of tools that have been created by Google to provide us with a wonderful suite of applications, features, and functions that allow you to be productive, whether you are in your office or on the go. And each one of these work equally well on the desktop and on your mobile device. So if you're on your phone, all of these tools work just as well as they do on the desktop for the most part. There are a couple of features that might be creating a problem, but for the most part, that would be the equal in terms of what it can basically do. So we're going to talk today about this wonderful one called Gmail. Next week, we're going to get into Google Calendar and some of the most fantastic features for time management and productivity that you have seen before. All right, so I'm not going to go through all of these. You already have this handout. And so, as you can see, I added some advanced user tips and tricks and things of that nature that would give you some idea on how to really master your Gmail account. Do me a favor, write in the chat and tell me on a scale of 1 to 5 what you think your skill level with Gmail is. 1 being you just open it up and send emails and that's it. 5 being that you've mastered the tools. So just give me an idea of how you feel about Gmail, and I'm going to move forward and put us up on the screen. All right, so you can see here, I'm getting your emails, and that's part of what we're talking about in terms of productivity. You sent me one, I sent you one in return. So I should be getting a few more of those in a few moments. All right, so let me slip over to Gmail. Now, this is my Gmail account that I use for training. And let me put it up on the screen so you can get a full view of it. This is
All I
my,
see is your. All I see is your screen from.
can you see my Gmail inbox from here, Arlene?
All I'm seeing is the screen from. Better.
Okay, let me try this again.
No, you could do it now. We're good now. We see
Okay.
the Gmail account.
Okay, good. All right, this is the Gmail account I use for training, and I can switch over to my personal Gmail at some point, but I just wanted to get this up so that you can get an idea of how to create your own personal Gmail experience and then to customize it so that it works exactly for your purposes. Let's start over here in the upper left corner with these horizontal bars. All this does right now is open and close this window. So if I click on it, it basically just gives me full screen, or it opens up for this menu. Of course, here is the compose button to start a message. You may not see this one quite yet, the one that says pause inbox. This is a really powerful tool. I'll get back to it. I want to talk about one of the programs called Boomerang. And this is a part of the Boomerang add-on to Gmail. And I think it would be a very good solution for you to have. So when I talk about it, I'll talk about the entire Boomerang solution along with the pause inbox. Below that, and let me move this little window out of the way, is my menu, or what I call my file cabinet. And in here is where you can actually create your own file cabinet for your emails. So when emails come into your box, you can assign them automatically to go into a particular folder. And so it's a really great organizational tool. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. Coming across the top, here is a Gmail search engine. And you can search for any keyword, any email address, anything that could possibly be in your Gmail inbox, you can search it in here. So you can just type whatever you want. So if I type Kelly's name, for example, now her email is in my other box, but I can just type Kelly and it's going to pull up everything that is in my Gmail that has the word Kelly in it. Now, you can also click on this little arrow pointing down and you can customize your search. So if you wanted to look for a specific email coming from someone, a specific subject, if it has a specific word in it, if it has a particular size, greater than or smaller than, with a date range. See, so you can have, or you can even search any of your folders. You see, so you can search within the Gmail more selectively by simply using the advanced search. Extremely powerful. Over here to the right, this is another add-on that I want to talk about. It's called Gmass. And if you are a person that sends out a lot of mass email, you have a large contact list, if you will, and you want to send out newsletters or email blasts or things of that nature, Gmass is a great tool that you can use. And we'll talk about that one a little bit later as well. Moving over to the right, this gear is where you'll always find your settings. So this is where we're going to go when we go in to customize our Gmail experience. So we can make it so it works exactly the way that you want it to. Now, here's the great news. If you have the Gmail app on your iPhone or your Android, it works exactly the same way, right? So you're able to go in and customize your Gmail experience on your mobile phone through the app the same way using settings. And that's going to be, you're going to find these same bars in your Gmail, but when you open it, it will expand and it will give you your file cabinet if you have created one in here. And at the bottom that it will give you settings. All right, so this little icon is for Boomerang. And again, we're going to talk about that one in a moment. These 9 buttons here is called the Apps Launcher. And anytime you want to go from one app to another within your own Gmail account, all you have to do is click on that box and it will take you to anywhere you want to go. These are customizable. So all you have to do is grab one and drag it, and you can put these in any order that you'd like. And if you don't see the ones that you want, you can always come down to More from Google and find the ones that you're looking for and drag them up so that they will be available to you very easily. All right, the one over to the far right, you see my initials there. You might see your photo. If you've already added your photo, then that would be there. But otherwise, it's going to have your initials. This is your Google account. And if you click on that, it will give you access to manage your Google account, go in and do a security check or do some other types of things that we're going to talk about today. And also, if you have multiple Gmail accounts. So for example, if you're with Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker and you have your own Gmail account and you also have a corporate Gmail account, you can have them both open right here and switch back and forth simply by clicking on this button right here to the left. All right. Now, I want you to see this because you may not see it. I'm going to come all the way down to the lower right corner and there's a little arrow here. And I'm going to click it open and it's going to show the side panel. Yours may have been opened, but if it's not, then this is how you can open and close it right there in the lower right corner. This side panel, I thought this was pretty cool because what it does, it gives you access to your Google Calendar. Now, the benefit of that is if you're opening up your email and someone wants to schedule something with you, I hope I'm not going to get cut off. It's telling you my internet is unstable and I'm not getting a very good connection. If you are using your calendar to open up dates, instead of opening up a different tab where your email is, I'm sorry, your calendar dates are, you can open it up right there and see if you can schedule or confirm a date with someone in through email. Same thing with Google Keep. Now, Google Keep is a very powerful tool. It's very similar to what Microsoft has and what Evernote has in terms of being able to keep notes. I'm an Evernote user, so I don't use Google Keep, but it does basically the same kind of thing, being able to keep notes and little sticky notes and things of that nature that you want to take with you rather than having all this paper around. I mean, I'm pretty much paperless in my office already, but Google Keep is one of those tools that will definitely help you. But I use, as I said, Evernote. And below here, this is a task list. So if you wanted to add anything that coming out of an email into a things to do list, this is a great way of doing so. Now, if you clicked on the plus, it will take you to a choice where you can add other applications to this list in a vertical row. So it's up to you how you want to add on and use these kind of things. So I would suggest that at some point, click on that plus and see what's under it. And if you see something that you like, go ahead and add it to your add-ons. All right, I'm going to close that. Now, let's get into the email themselves. This is my inbox. And you can see when I put my mouse over an email, a couple of things are going on. First of all, this little window pops up. It hovers. It's called a hover. And I'll show you how you can turn this on or off. If yours doesn't do this, I'll show you how you can turn it on very easily. And when you hovering over any particular email, this is how you can affect that email. So the first one is Boomerang, which we haven't talked about, but we will. Here is a file folder with an arrow pointing down. That is the archive folder. Now, anything you want to take out of your Gmail inbox, but you do not want to delete, you will archive it, okay? Archive simply means skip the inbox, and what it will do is it will take this email and it would put it over here to the left in the file cabinet. If it's not listed under any particular file folder, there is one folder called All Mail, and you'd be able to find the email that you've archived in the All Mail, all right? Of course, we know that that's the trash can if you want to delete this message. To the right there is you can mark this email as read or unread. You know, if I make it red, then it loses its bold text. And if I make it unread again, the bold text comes back. So that's a kind of a nice feature. And then over here to the far right is snooze. Really cool technology. If you're accustomed to getting a lot of email coming into your box on a regular basis, you can literally take this message and say, well, I need to deal with this. It's important, but I need to deal with it later. You can literally snooze this message. I can say, come back today at 6 o'clock or tomorrow morning or whatever I want, or I can just pick a date and time. It will leave your inbox temporarily and come back at the scheduled time that you have designated. I thought that was really ingenious technology. So snooze has come into play many, many times. Now, you see that this menu is very similar to one that I'm going to pull up in just a moment. When I come back over here to the left and hit this checkbox, you see this menu that just came across. All of the things that we just saw in the hover are here with the exception of Boomerang. So I can archive this message. I can report it as spam. I can delete it. I can mark it as read or unread. I can snooze it. I can add it to tasks. We saw that over in the right panel. I can move it from one folder to another, okay, manually. I can move it to another folder, but I really want to set this up so I can automatically do it. Now, this label here, this little icon under labels, I call it the price tag. This is the file cabinet. And you will see under this icon, all of the different folders that you have created. And so if there's a particular folder that you want to add this to, I can simply click on it and say, I want to add it to real estate and apply. And you see now it has the green real estate folder. Now, I didn't set it up so it would always do that. I set it up for this one time. I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to make this so that every time this person's email comes in, that email address comes in, it would automatically go into the folder that you have designated. All right. Now, we also see over here where you can select the entire page or none of them, what's starred and unstarred. Now, what are the stars? The stars is this icon. Here, let me choose and go back and select these to none again. All right. The stars is this little icon right here. Now, I use this for specific purposes. For example, if there's an email that comes in, I've got to deal with it today. I will click the star and it will brighten. And at that point, I'll be able to do what I need to do. Now, at the end of the day, after I've addressed that email, I'll click it again and it will change. And now I know that I've done it. You can create your own system. So I'll show you how to set that up and how you can determine how you want to use those for your own personal good. The arrow to the right, these are called important or unimportant emails. Now, if I manually choose this, it says this is important because I decided that it was important. And the next time I get an email from Ted McGrath, it's going to come in and say, well, you said that his emails are important. So it's going to come in and that yellow marker is going to be there instead of a blank marker. Okay. So it's up to you. Now, Gmail will also do this for you automatically. It's looking at your behavior. And if there's an email that you open all the time, it may come back and just automatically mark that email as important. So you may see that all on itself. All right, now this here, primary social promotions. This is something that Gmail has created to try to organize your mail and separate it by these three categories. I'm not a big fan of this. So you can get rid of this if you want, just make it so that you don't see it anymore. I'm going to click on the settings menu, right up here, the gear. Am I connected? Oh, yes. Let me go back. I'm going to click on the settings gear. And when I do so, it should open my settings. Let me see if it's having that problem. Okay, I may be having some type of internet problem here. All right, so let's try it again. I'm going to click on settings. There we are. All right, so when I open up settings, you can see here where you have these panes. And this is all about organizing your inbox. Now, I'm not going to go through these specifically because of time, but I would recommend that you go in and you take a look and see how you want to organize your inbox. For example, I can come in and say, well, you know what, when I open my email, I want to see the ones that are marked important first. And what will happen is the ones that are marked with this yellow, you see that? They will be the first ones that I see. And then after that, I see everything else. So if that's what you want to do, if you're getting a large volume of email and you want to organize them like that, feel free to do so. If you don't like it, just simply come back and go back to default, and it will automatically go back and set up your email based on the date and time that it came in. All right. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in there, but I want you to just go here, and I'm encouraging you to practice and try these things. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to click on See All Settings. And by clicking on See All Settings, now it's going to take us into the settings menu and give us the capability of customizing your email as it comes in. Now, let me stop and hit the chat button here. And I asked everybody to give me an idea of what their Gmail experience was between 1 and 5. And I see 2s, 1s, and one says I'm a 4 out of 5, which is good. And Basil asked, can email be added to more than one folder? The answer is absolutely yes. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And Arlene says, are you setting as filters? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're going to show you how to set up those filters so that you'll be able to do that. Okay, good, great, moving forward. All right, so we're in the settings menu now, and across the top here are the different menus for categories for settings. We're going to start over here to the left with general. And this is basically how your inbox looks. Now, keep in mind, these are all optional choices. Anything that you change here, if you don't like it, you can come back in, undo it. It does not affect your email. It doesn't delete any email. It doesn't do anything of that capability. It basically just gives us the opportunity of setting up our email the way that we want to see it. That's primarily what this does. So I'm just going to go through a few of these. I don't want to go through them all because some of them are basically self-explanatory, but I want to share with you a couple and then share with you a couple of really great tips, starting with the one that says undo send. This is one of my favorite tools in Gmail, and you'll see this in many of the applications now, Calendar, Drive, and Gmail. Now, if you send an email and then as you send it, you realize that you didn't put the attachment onto it, this is a great way of setting a cancellation period of up to 30 seconds. And I use the whole 30 seconds because it'll say message sent, undo. And if you click undo, it'll come back and then it'll allow you to make whatever changes that you need to make. Now, you only have up to that period. So that's why I take the whole 30 seconds. That's up to you. But it's a really, really handy tool when you're sending out a lot of email. All right, let's scroll down. And here is the hover actions that I was talking about. When you open up your email, and you hover over and one of the particular email lines, it'll pull up those icons. That's what this is. And so if you didn't see that when I did it, it's because yours is disabled. So in this case, all you just need to do is enable it and you'll see that moving forward. Here's a nice tool that I like, Send and Archive. If you're like me and you like to have your email inbox kind of clean, or you want to be able to clean it very easily, the Send and Archive button will help you do that. So when you are creating an email, for example, right? Oh, no, not creating an email, but if you're responding to an email, if I wanted to respond to this email, I get a couple of choices for sending this email. So I'll press reply, and then I'll send out an email. I'll type the email out, but then I have two choices for sending it. And this is still loading, so I don't know if it's really going to, I'm having some issues here. But nonetheless, what it will do is it'll give you an option to just send the email. And when you send the reply, the original message will stay in your inbox. But if you have it if you select Send and Archive, it will send your reply, but it will archive the original message and put it into your folder. You see? So that's a really good tool. All right, now below that, default text style is where you can come in and you can choose your fonts. You can choose the size of your fonts and the basic color. Now this is the default. You can always change this on every email that you create, but you can set this up so that it will by default create the email experience that you want. All right, so let me scroll down a little further. And these grammar, spelling, and autocorrect, those are kind of nice tools. And I have been using a lot of them, as well as the Smart Compose. and smart compose personalization. These are really cool because if I'm typing and the spelling suggestions will automatically change something that I have misspelled. If I'm typing something, it'll give me a grammar suggestion that maybe it'll say that maybe you should type it this way as opposed to what you have. And then of course there's autocorrect, we know what that is. And then even with the writing suggestions, predictive writing. So as you're typing, it's gonna put in gray some predictive writing. And if you wanna like what they have, then you can just swipe on your phone or you can tap with your mouse on the laptop and it will take their suggestion and continue on. So it's a really nice tool. I suggest that you try them. If you don't like them, then come in and turn them off. All right, so let's scroll down a little further. Now, if there's something here that you see that you want me to address, and then I haven't because I'm trying to move forward, then just let me know and you can ask me and I'll give you the answer. Here's one that I like: nudges. Suggest emails to reply to, suggest emails to follow up on. This is really cool because I know I get a pretty large volume of emails. And if I send something out or I get something in and it's been the nature of the email, based on the nature of the email, if it's a scheduled date or if it's asking me to reply in a certain way and I have not done it, my inbox will say, you haven't addressed this in 3 days. What do you want to do? So it's nudging me to follow up on this email. If I'm talking to someone, I'm asking someone a question, it will basically nudge me to follow up on that if I didn't after a couple of days. So it's pretty cool. I like that feature. All right. So let's scroll down a little further and here are the stars. And you can take what's not in use and drag them up to what's in use, and you can put them in any order that you like. Just drag them and put them in what order that you like. And so when you get to that email, then you'd be able to click on the star and select which, star. And when you click on them, for example, this one will start first. And once you click on it a second time, then the checkbox will come. And then you click on it a third time, then the red bang would come. So you get to choose which order that these will appear. All right. Now, what I would suggest is that you add your picture. Now, up here in the upper right corner where you see my initials GW, this is where your picture is going to be on all of your applications. Calendar, Gmail, Drive, everything. And everywhere that Google represents you in the Google universe, this photo is going to represent you too. So choose wisely what photo that you want to do. Right? So when you click this, it actually will take you over to another window that will allow you to go in and customize some of these other features that are about you, including your photo. Now, this is a big one here. Create contacts for autocomplete. Google wants to do a favor to you. So when you get a message from a new person, for example, it will take that contact email and it will file it in its contacts so that the next time you send information out to them or you type their name in, it will fill in. I'm not crazy about this feature because it knows the email address, but it doesn't know the person. And in your contacts, it's going to sync to your phone. And so if you're one of those people, and I know this was me for a long time when this first happened, I had maybe 100 email addresses in my contacts, my phone list on my phone before I actually got to my contacts. Well, this is how I was able to end this. So let me open up something real quick. And I'll show you something that I did. I chose, I'll add contacts myself. And this is how I do it. All right, so this is my Gmail. Now I'm gonna open up Elaine's email, for example. And hers doesn't have a signature in the bottom. What I tend to do is if I see someone's signature in the bottom of their email, so I see Arlene's here, what I will do is I will highlight it and copy it. And then I'm going to take my mouse and I'm just going to put it right over her name. And what pops up is her profile. Now, if she's not in my contacts, right here, it's going to say add contact. So I'll click on that and it'll say add contact, and it will immediately at that point change to edit contact. So she's already in my contacts here. So it gives me the choice to edit it. So I'm going to click on edit. It goes over to my contacts, pulls up her profile. And if there's any of this information that I want to add, I can do so right here in her profile. I'm using a lot of resources. That's probably what's going on here. But it will open up her profile and allow me to make whatever edits I need to her profile. So I'll come down to show more and I'll scroll all the way down to notes. And remember, I copied this off of her address. I'm just going to paste it right there. So now I have all the information that I copied from her signature in her email. And then, of course, I'm always going to make sure that she's in the right group in contacts. We talked about that last week, and then save it. You see? So I was able to update Arlene's profile in my Gmail contacts simply by doing it that way. So when I tell Google that I would rather add the contacts myself, that's how I do it. So it really helps for that purpose. Now, here is where you can come in and create your signature. And they actually updated this recently to give you a couple of other options. So one of the great features of Gmail is you have the ability to create multiple signatures, because if you have multiple email addresses and you associate them with your Gmail account, then you can have a signature for each one of your accounts, you see? So you can just simply come in and say create new, and I'm going to call it demo account. Create, and then you can come over here and create the text. Now, because it uses rich text, I can come in, I can change the font, change the size, change the colors. If you have links that you want to add, you can do that. You know, your website, if you have images, your photo, you can click on and add that right here. You have links to a website, you can do that. I've got social media links on my signature, and you can just come in and create that. And it's called demo account, and then it's set. Now, then you come down to signature defaults, and you can say, well, whenever I use this account, which email for new emails is it going to use? So use the demo account. And then you can even have a different signature for replies, which I think is pretty cool, because most of the time in replies, it doesn't add your signature. So now it can. So you can have the same signature again, or you can have something different. It's up to you. Just go ahead and create that. All right. Now, if you made any changes to this page, come down to the bottom, make sure you click on save the changes so that they stick. All right. Now, when you do that, it's going to take you back to your inbox. We're going to come back to settings, and you're going to come back to this window. And this time we're going to click on forwarding and pop IMAP. Now, I'm going to pause just a second and ask if there are any questions about what we just did in this part of general settings. If there's anything that you want me to go over again, or something that I skipped over on purpose, and you can have any questions about it, you can simply unmute yourself, or you can write it into the chat. But anyway, let's get back into where we were. And so we're going to go back into settings. And as I was talking about forwarding and pop IMAP, now this is how we're going to schedule forwarding of your emails into your Gmail account. So if you've got AOL or Hotmail or your corporate email, or your email coming from your website, hosted somewhere else, no problem. It is very easy to do. Now, the first thing I want to do is set up forwarding for your Gmail account. Let's say if you've got a second Gmail account that you want to forward into this one. Now, what I typically tell people, especially those with corporate accounts like KW, Coldwell Banker, if you've got a company email account and you want to use that, so your email will be your name at kw.com, whatever, then consider making that your primary, which means that's the email that's that's the account that's gonna manage your email. It's gonna manage your calendar. It's gonna manage your contacts. All your other email accounts can be forwarded into this box, okay? So how we do that is this: if you're working from a different Gmail account, then it would be as simple as this. I'm going to open up a different account just for a second here so that you can see what I have set up. All right. Now, if you want to add something here, so you would come up to your upper right corner, up to your profile, and you would select the other account. So if I want to move this account into that one, I'm going to open up the other account. All right. Now, once I open it, I'm going to go into settings and I'm going to come to forwarding and pop IMAP. And so I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to select add a forwarding address. And then I'm going to add the name of the account. I think that's it, atsonline@gmail.com. And then next. Oh, I guess I can't do that. All right, I can do it this way. Add a forwarding address, hcsonline@gmail.com. Now, I'm only doing Gmail accounts for right now. We'll do the others in a moment. So I'm going to go to next. And at this point, it's going to ask me to proceed. So I'm going to select proceed in the upper left corner there. And now it says the confirmation code has been sent to the primary email address. That's why I went and opened it from the beginning. And let's click the wrong thing. I'm going to go to the inbox. And there should be an email from Gmail that says a confirmation for forwarding. Now, there's going to be a code in here. All I need is this little code. And I'm just going to copy it and then go over to the original one. And it's asking for the confirmation code. I'm going to paste that in and verify. Okay, now this email is ready to go. Now I want to make sure that I take disable off and say forward a copy. Okay, so now that email is going to forward into this Gmail account. All right, this is my primary account, my G Suite. So I took my secondary account and forwarded it into my primary account. Now, before we come out of this page, I want you to make sure that you've done two things. Under POP download, I want you to simply select enable POP for mail that arrives from now on. Don't select all mail, select from email that arrives from now on. And then under IMAP access, simply select enable IMAP and then come down to the bottom and save your changes. It's important that you make those changes. Now, I don't want to get into the technology of email, but what you've done is you've made it so that your email account, whether you're on your desktop or on your phone, it's going to work exactly the same, the way that you want it to. So it took me back to my inbox. I'm going to come back to settings. And now that other account is being forwarded into this account. Now, the next step is accounts and import. Now, while we're switching over to that, anybody have a question about what we're doing? So you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question or write it in the chat and we'll move from there. All right, so we're coming to accounts and import. Now, this is where you would bring in all your other accounts For example, you can see here, I have my Hotmail address is here. And how you would do that is simply select add a mail account, put in the address. This one's already done, but you can just add the address and then tap next. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and start over. I'm going to add a mail account. I'm going to put in that email address from Hotmail and go to next. Now, let me put this up on the screen so you can see it. So I simply selected add a mail account, put in the address, and tap next. Now, I'll get to that question in just a second. Now, all I need at this point is the password. I think it's this. Now, Google has a nice feature called Gmailify, and it knows most email accounts, especially the big ones. It knows the POP settings, it knows the port settings, it knows all of that automatically. So you don't have to go and try to find it. If you're working with your own email address or something that's coming out of a boutique, then of course you may have to call technical support at your email provider and get that information. All you have to do is tell them that you're forwarding your email into your Gmail account and you need the POP and port settings, and they'll give them exactly as you can. You might be able to look it up on the internet. Okay, Donna says, all I'm seeing is a line box. Do you see more than the line box now? Because you should be able to see everything at this point. All right, so at this point, just click on add the account. I think the password might be wrong, but yeah, I didn't have the right password. But if you have the right password, it'll let you in right there. Now, so that's how you add email coming into your box, okay, from other places. You did the Gmail over here in the POP IMAP. You did all the others over here in accounts and import. Okay. Now, here's one thing about email that you have to know. Sending email and receiving email is two different processes in the world of email. So we have to set it up. What we did was we have it set up to receive email by using that account. Now we have to set it up to send email under those same accounts. So you see here, it says send mail as. All you have to do is select add another email address. Now, if your system allows you to Gmailify, it will do sending and receiving automatically. But if you have to do it manually, you have to set up receiving email or check mail from other accounts. And then separately, you have to set up send mail as. And that's what you see. You see, I've got these two accounts that I can send mail out from. Now, when you're ready to do that, just simply add another email address, put in the address, and then make sure that you have this box that says treat it as an alias. And go to next step, put in the password, which I think is this, and then add the account. Now, this is what I wanted it to do. It says that the authentication failed. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't do it right. That doesn't mean that you didn't have the right information. That means that Google is looking at a security issue, and they want to make sure that you know what you're doing. So if you read that, it says check your username, password, and in blue, it says less secure apps. All right. Now, let me show you where you can find this. I'm just going to minimize this. Go over to your username or your account and click on manage your Google account. And over here where it says security to the left, scroll down toward the bottom and you'll see one that says less secure apps access. All you have to do is turn that on. Now I say it's not recommended, but for this purpose, I'm giving you permission to turn it on and then refresh that page. And now when you go to do that again, that same step that you just took, send mail as, put in the same credentials again, and then put in the password. Which I'm hoping this is it, and press add account. I put in the wrong information. I think it's this. And then add the account. Still, all right. I need to get my my address is okay. But what we'll do is at that point, it will give you the capability. It will add it to this list. So now, when you're ready to compose a message, oh, wait a minute. This one's not verified. That's what it is. This one's not verified. I need to get the code from Hotmail. To get the code, verify this email, and then I'll be able to send email under my Hotmail name, even though I'm in my Gmail. And I rarely use the Hotmail, so I have to go back and find out what the email address is. And for time, I'm not going to do it. But all you have to do is verify the email, just like we did the other one, and then you are able to use it. So it's really, really simple to create these. And then once you do that, you go to compose, you'll actually have both of those names or both of those email addresses or however many email addresses you've added to choose from. So you can send from your Gmail address, you can send from your Hotmail address, you can send from your corporate email address, whatever you've added to that list. And when you change the email address going out, it's going to change the signature. Because remember, you can create a signature for each one of those email addresses. It's all in the guide, so you have that. And of course, you can always email me if you have any questions about that. Okay? All right, so any questions about setting up your incoming and outgoing email? All right. So we're getting short on time, so I want to just go ahead and move forward. And we're going to move over here to the one that says labels. Now, the labels, again, is your file cabinet over here to the left. And you can create your own folders and subfolders for each one of your contacts. Each one of your interests. And then you can assign emails coming into them automatically using the filter system. For example, over here, I have one called real estate. And below that, I have two subfolders in there for buyers and for listings. Now, how you can create those are here. Right here in this list, you can just simply say create new label. And then just put in whatever it is you want. Now, what I typically do, if you look here, you'll see most of my folders are in all caps. Actually, these should all be in all caps. And then you create. Then I created the one called demo account, right? Now, once you've got it there, you see the three dots right there. Click on that. That's a menu. You can add a label color to it. And I'm going to click on those same three dots again, and I'm going to come down to the bottom and select add sublabel. And then I'm going to add a sublabel. Sublabel 1. Now, under demo account, I've got one called sublabel 1, and I can create a third one and call it sublabel 2. And you can give these colors as well. Now, when we go into the inbox, You see how your email that came in automatically came into that folder called webinars? Because I set that up from the very beginning when I set that up, and the filter system does that, okay? And I'm going to show you how that works. And here are the others. See, this, again, this is the account that I use all the time. And so you see many of the emails coming in have folders in different colors. Someone asked me, I think it was Basil, asked me earlier, can emails go into 2 different folders? And the answer is yes. It's going into this one and this one at the same time. You can actually have them going into 3, 4 if you want to, completely up to you. Now, if you see something in your box that you want to add to a folder, just simply click on it. Here are the labels. And these are in alphabetical order. And you notice I put the ones in front of mine. That makes sure that they are always at the top because they're in alphabetical order. But here's the demo account, and I'll just apply. And so now that particular email is in the demo account label. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go there every single time. We have to create a filter to make that happen. Now, I'm going to do 2 things at once. I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to fix a major problem that you may have in the past. If you ever get emails that come into your inbox that you would rather unsubscribe to, my suggestion is that you not do that. Do not unsubscribe to emails because number one, you're letting the sender know that it's a legitimate email address, it's live and it's being monitored, but also by law, they have to take your email off of their list, but that doesn't mean that they can't sell it to 10 other lists or more. So that means you might even get more spam. So this is what I would suggest you do moving forward. Choose an email that you would rather unsubscribe to. Just click on the checkbox and then come up here to the menu that pops up, and we're going to click on the 3 vertical dots, and we're going to select filter messages like these. Now, when we come over to the filter system, or the Gmail assistant, as I call it, all you have to do is tell it what you want the email to do when it comes into the inbox, whether it's going to a particular folder or what have you. So now this one, it has this code. Don't worry about that. That's just email speak. All right. So it says whenever the email is coming from this particular email account, I'm going to create the filter. And here are my options. So if I have email that I know it's coming in, but I don't want to see it, I can select skip the inbox, archive it. I do that with my Hotmail. When it comes in, I don't have to see it. It's over here in the folder, and I can always come and open my Hotmail folder and see it, right? So it doesn't have to come into my inbox. I could put a star to it if I want, right? I can apply a label. And in this case, I'm going to say, I'm going to use my demo label, the one we just created. I could forward it to another account. I could delete it. This is what you're going to do with that unsubscribed email. Instead of unsubscribing to it, create a filter for it and just simply select delete it. Okay. And then down here at the bottom, it says also apply the filter to 13 matching conversations. It found that email 13 more times in my email box. And so when I create the filter, here they all are. I'll never see them again. They're going to go away. And so the next time I get that email account coming into my inbox, the Gmail assistant is going to automatically just delete it. So the person who sent me that email does not know that I'm deleting that email without being seen. And I did not unsubscribe to it. So the convenience is all mine. So I would suggest that you do it that way, and that way it'll keep things safe for you. All right, so let's go back into the filter system. And this time we're going to go in from the settings. Let me turn this back off. Okay, all right, so let's go back into the filter system, but this time we're going to go in through the menu, click see all settings, and Once we're in, we're going to go into filters and block addresses. Now, I'm going to show you how you got that email back from me, because that's in one of these automated sequences. And the filter system is going to create all that automation for you. And so I'm going to recommend that you try this, test it out, and try to put certain emails into certain labels or folders that you create, or do some of the things like this. So I come into filters and blocked addresses, and I'm going to show you the email account, the session that I created for you, because you see, I've got a lot. My assistant stays very busy with the filter system. So all you have to do is create a new filter. And then I said, anytime I get an email to william@gwilliamjames.com and has the Gmail secrets, remember the keywords, everything's keyword driven in Google, but you can use any of these features. So you could say, if it has the word foreclosure in it, it'll find every email has got the word foreclosure in it, whether it's in the subject, in the body of the letter, in the signature, it doesn't matter. If the word signature, if the word foreclosure exists, it'll find it. All right. Now I'm going to say create the filter, and you saw all the options that I had. Now for the email that I created for you, I simply said apply the label, and then I chose the one that said webinars. Now, I also said never send it to spam. Now, this is a really powerful tool as well. If you're having an exchange with another person by email, and when your email comes to them and it goes to spam, or when their email comes to you and it goes to spam, create a filter for it. Or if your email is going to spam in their account, you can teach them how to do that. But this is all you have to do. Come into the filter system and click on never send it to spam. Put their email address on the first page, and then put in never send it to spam, and you'll never have to worry about it again. Now, the next thing I did, I said, send a template. And I'll show you what the templates are. And I said, the hidden secrets of Gmail. Okay. Now, the template is what I had already created, so that when you sent me the email and it had the right keywords in it, Gmail said, oh, I know what to do. Send this particular email response back to that person. So that's all this is. And at that point, all you have to do is create filter, and it will do so. All right. Now, let's come back into the settings just for a second so you can find out where those templates are. So we're going to come over here to advanced, over here to the right. And you only have to do this once. You see here where it says templates. This whole list are things that if you want to use them, you can just add them to your Gmail experience simply by clicking on enable. In this case, just come over to templates, click on enable, and then save the change at the bottom. Now, what happens is immediately it adds something to your Gmail experience. So if I go to the inbox and I go to compose, composing a message, in the lower right corner, vertical dots, you probably haven't even noticed this before, but here, underneath those three vertical dots is a menu. What has now added to that menu is one called templates. Okay. Now, all you have to do at this point is type your message. Now, templates are good for two major purposes. Number one, it does what we talked about, automatically sending an email out to someone. So for example, you have a link on your website that says, click here for more information. And it asks for the person's email address, their name, their phone number, whatever you want to capture. And when they press send, you can have that, and you can have your webmaster do this for you. It's very simple. It will send an email to your Gmail with the right keywords in it that will trigger it to send out the message that you want that person to get within minutes, or maybe even seconds, depending upon the speed of their network. They'll get the reply back from you. So you can have that saying, thank you for your inquiry. we'll get back with you, in just a few hours. But in the meantime, here's some sights and sounds of the city. And you've got a link there. You got a YouTube video of the town. You may have a Google photo gallery of properties, whatever you want to put on that email. And people will automatically get it simply by making that response on your email. On your website. So you would have that ability just by creating this template inside of your email. So you would type your message, whatever you want, and then in the lower right corner, you click on and you select templates, and then you would say, save the draft as a template, and then name it. Save as a new template. Just like that, demo template, save. Now, it's saved in there. Now, the second great use of using the templates is if there's an email that you use a lot, you send out all the time with the same basic information, you can have it saved in here, and you don't have it automatically sending out to somebody, but when you're ready to use it, you can just come into the template gallery and open it up and then send it. Just put the person's name in it and send it out all the time. You can personalize it. One way that I use this for is I have a birthday greeting that I have, and all I would do is come in and put the person's name in there, and I will send it out to that person, schedule it to go out to a person. So it's really simple. Now, next week when we get into Google Calendar, I'll give you more about that, about how and why I do that, but it will be a very beneficial tool for you. And having the template built in for your birthday message will just make things so much easier for you. It doesn't go out automatically, but it's automatically saved in here so that you don't have to rewrite it all the time. Now, in order to make this email automatic, as we talked about earlier, you just take the message that you had, go back into settings, just as I did before, go into filters and blocked addresses, create a new filter, and just say whatever email's coming to, what have you. So if it's coming from your email address, from your website to that particular email address, fine. And then you come in and just put a label on it. You can call it prospects, what have you, or website. Never send it to spam. Send template, demo template, create the filter. All right. I didn't have it set up. But my point is, all you have to do is put that information in. Oh, I forgot. I know what happened. I didn't put in a keyword. Now I can create the filter. Oh, choose a label. Oh, I didn't choose a label. Here, prospects. Now I have a filter called demo template. It's really that simple. And from now on, your website will direct everything else. So when someone comes to your website, they put in their name, address, and phone number, press send. The system will send it to Gmail. You will already have it set up to use those keywords, and the email will come back to them. And it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter where you are. All right. So to find that, again, it's under advanced in settings. Simply select templates and enable it, and then save the changes. All right. Any other questions? Because we're going to move forward. I've got about 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, so that we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and then we can do Q&A. I'm in no major hurry as long as my network stays stable. And again, I apologize for any inconvenience that created for us. But I come to realize, I said when I talked to Zoom about this, they said that we're using an exorbitant amount of resources it's real straining on the Wi-Fi network. And so the best way that I should do this moving forward, and I'm going to have to make the change, is to just plug in and use a T1 line, and that should help that along in the future. All right, so we created a template, we've created the automation, we've created our folders, and we have emails automatically coming into the folders. All right. All right, let's go back into the inbox and let's talk about these tools that I mentioned earlier. Boomerang. Now, when I go into compose a message, so I can compose a message and say, okay, I want to send this email to Elaine. And I know she's in the room, so I'll say, hi, Elaine.
Hi.
Now, this is what I do when I use my birthday. So I can type the message, whatever I want to say. But here down at the bottom, you see, when you have Boomerang, you'll see these additional options in the bottom of your email box. It says send later. Now I can click on that and say, okay, I want it to go out in 4 hours or maybe tomorrow morning or in a couple of days. So many times when I'm watching football on Sundays, I may be working and sending out emails and scheduling them to go out at 8 o'clock Monday morning. And so when 8 o'clock Monday morning comes along, I may be doing something completely different, but the emails that I've set to schedule, they go out at that time. This is also what I do for people on their birthday. I have a template with a birthday message in it, and I'll go in and I'll write their message. I'll write their name into the message, Dear John, and then put their email address in the to box and then schedule it to go out on their birth date. So I do them all at the beginning of the month. And for the rest of the month, I don't have to bother with it because their email is going to go out on their birthday. You see, it is fantastic. Now, Google has recently added that feature to your Gmail. See, this is the send button, and there's that little arrow. So you can schedule your send. You can use this the same way. It works just like Boomerang does. But Boomerang has some other functions that Gmail hasn't provided us yet. For example, I can also say, well, Boomerang, remind me. Okay, it's got to log in. Remind me tomorrow morning or in 2 days if this email has not been opened. So 2 days later, if this email has still not been opened, I'll get a notification from Boomerang that says, this email has still not been clicked. And if they click it at that point, then I'll get another notification telling me that they finally opened it. So this is a really powerful tool as well. Now, Boomerang is free to a point. It's free to a point. And after that, it's not an expensive tool, but I think it really provides you with a great service if you want to subscribe to it. The other thing that it does is pause inbox. If you're getting email coming in, you're just being inundated and you've got a project that you're working on, you've got a time schedule, you got to get this out, get it to the broker, get it done by 1 p.m. and you're getting all this email in and you're one of those people that get really tempted by email. A lot of people are, you may be one of them. Then what you can do is you can literally pause your inbox, meaning any email that has been sent to you will not come into the inbox. In fact, the autoresponder will go back and send them a message that you have custom written in this box. Say, hey, listen, thanks for emailing me. I'm not reading email right now, but I'll get back with you as soon as I can. If this is an emergency, here's my phone number, or here's another way that you can, contact me if this is an emergency. But other than that, I'll get to your email when I get a chance, just as a courtesy. It does have a way that you can whitelist certain people. So if your spouse or your broker or whomever is sending you emails, you can put them on the list and it will automatically let their email through. All right. Now, this part, what you see here, is part of the free app. It will pause your inbox just like that. If you want to get the white listing and all of that, that's an upgrade. That's when you have to subscribe to the service. But I want you to use it for free for a while and try it and see what you like. And if you feel like it's worth it to you, go ahead and subscribe. These are really good guys. and I've talked to them over the years. They have a great product, and I think that you'll appreciate what it is that they're giving you by using these tools. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's a really nice application. All right, now the other one I talked about was GMass. Now, when you are typing a message, right here is your option to send the email through Gmail. So I mean GMass. So if you are sending out bulk email, so if you're familiar with MailChimp or some of the other constant contact programs like that that allow you to send out email to hundreds, even thousands of people at one particular time, and you're paying a premium for that, you may want to look at GMass as an option. So you create your email, put the subject in, put the message in, and you don't put in a recipient quite yet. What you would do is you would come into GMass and you would select all of these. You select if you have a template that you've already completed, you want to personalize it. So it also gives you that capability too. So, you know, you're getting those emails every now and then that says, "Dear Elaine, dear Barbara, you know, dear Basil." This is how they're doing it. All right. So you can use their first name, last name, or, you know, or their email address. Now, where are they getting this information from? Well, think about your contact list. Okay. And you've got first name and last name in your contact list. So GMass will get your information from the contact list. That's what these buttons up here are for. Okay. So I can connect to an email list in a Google Sheet, simply by clicking on that. I've got to sign in. But remember we talked about last week, your contacts, when they're being imported, exported, they're exported as a spreadsheet. And that's what GMass is going to do. And in this case, it'll give you the ability to access those spreadsheets in your Google Drive or Excel, whatever you want. And you'll be able to send that email. It'll take that list. Now that's where it'll find the first name, last name, and email address. So if you want to personalize that email, you'd be able to do so. Now over here, next to his is where you can actually launch a campaign. I haven't used this program on this account. I use it on a different account, but it will give you that capability. I gotta make this smaller so I can close this window. All right, get back to 100%. So you have that capability as well. Now, the last one over here, it says launch the campaign dashboard. Now, if you're ready to create an email that you want to send, you can come in and create your campaign, just like you do in MailChimp or in Constant Contact. You can create new campaigns and create a template for email or a stock email that's going to go out, and schedule it, put in the email addresses, and let it fly. Okay. There's a really nice tutorial on GMass in YouTube. And I just say YouTube has everything. I mean, you could probably learn brain surgery in YouTube if you just do a search for it. But there's a really nice tutorial that this company has created to be able to master the GMass tools, but they really come in handy doing them just like this. Okay. Now, before we go, I want to let me create a response, a reply. Okay. Remember when we were in settings and I showed you how you can have the send button plus the send plus archive buttons? It only works for replies. So that's why I found a reply. And this is what it is. Now, if I want to just reply to this person's email and press send, it'll just send the email reply out. It'll leave the original email that came to me in the inbox. But if I want to archive that message at the same time, I could send out my reply, by clicking on Send Plus, and there's a symbol for archive, and it will go away. It'll be in the inbox. I'm sorry, it'll be in the file cabinet in the folder. It will not delete. It'll just be put away. Okay, so as we get ready to wind down, I just wanted to share with you very quickly that next Wednesday, number one, I'll be plugged in. I can tell you that. Next Wednesday, we're going to do Google Calendar Magic. You have to be here, and please do me a favor, invite a colleague, invite your broker, invite someone else to come and experience this series. And Google Calendar Magic is one of the best demonstrations of time management and productivity using digital technology that you're ever going to see. So we're going to talk about, number one, about how to really use this calendar system to maximize on your time management, to stay productive during the day, but also how you're going to use this system to communicate with people on the internet and share with them. So you've got events that are popping up, you've got open houses or meet and greets or what have you. You can put those events in your calendar and share them publicly with people through social media or through the internet, and you'll be able to attract a much larger audience using this tool. It is really, really powerful. So I highly encourage you to join us next Wednesday for the Google Calendar Magic session. All right, so it's Q&A time. And let me say this. When I'm on the road and I'm out teaching at your broker offices or your association, or when I teach this, I even taught this at NAR one year. Gmail takes up most of the time when I'm teaching the different applications. I mean, this is a full day workshop. It goes by very quickly and people never get bored, but Gmail takes up most of the time. And that is because it is the most robust of all the applications, in my opinion. What I went through today in this 90 minutes, if you will, is but a glimpse of what Gmail can do. And I gave you some of the things that I think you'll be able to take advantage of starting today. So what I encourage you to do is go through those menus, click on that gear, go into settings, and have some fun. Anything that you change and you don't like, you can always go back and unchange it. Okay. If you have questions or you run into an issue with setting up your emails that you're forwarding into your account, just drop me a line and I will walk you through the process step by step, I promise. So you'll have a complete Gmail office in a very few minutes if you just walk through those processes. And I promise you, you're going to appreciate it, because what you see on your desktop is exactly what you'll see on your mobile phone if you're using the Gmail app. Okay, so I want you to go into those settings. I want you to try some of those things out and just see what they have to offer you. There's a lot in there. Now, who's got a question? Who is that? Is there somebody turning on their microphone? Okay. All right, let's do some Q&A, everybody. Is there something that I can go back and show you again? Or there's something that I could have talked about that I didn't, that I can talk about now? Just give me some idea and we'll go through the process.
William, it's Elaine.
Yes, Elaine.
I noticed when you asked us to respond to your email, and just put on the subject line, the name of
Yes.
the webinar, you mentioned having a signature at the bottom. Is that, I didn't realize you had to have one.
You don't have to have one. It just gives you the capability of creating not just one signature, but multiple signatures.
Oh, okay.
You see, so this is my standard outgoing signature.
Okay.
Or when I create an email. But when I'm replying to a message, then this message doesn't have to be the same message. I can create a different signature for that.
Okay.
So yes, it's just an optional thing, but I think that what it does is it gives you a lot of flexibility. For example, if you wanted to go directly from to my website from my signature, there's the link. You wanted to go to my social media, these are all active links, you see?
Okay.
Now, for some strange reason, my photo is not rendering. Maybe that's a good thing, but my emoji's showing pretty well. But the point is that you can come in and you can create your signatures to be whatever you want them to be. And if you have multiple accounts that you are emailing from, see, this one doesn't have it. If you have multiple accounts that you're emailing out of, then you can have a different signature for each one of those accounts that you have flowing through your primary Gmail account.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, more questions, guys. All right, well, this is what we're going to do. If you didn't get this, I'm going to send it out again. Send me the email to william@gwilliamjames.com and put in Gmail Secrets 2020. Now, I put in a link in that response for you to get the Boomerang link. So if you want to subscribe to Boomerang as well as GMass, just click on those links in the email that you got from me and set it up. They're both free in their basic form, and you'll be able to use them in their basic form until you discover that it will be a tool that you will get the most out of. And at that point, you may want to subscribe to it. But I would say just use the free for a while. And I think you're really going to like what it will do for you. Okay. All right. So again, if you need to contact me, email me at my email address or on my website. And again, next Wednesday is Google Calendar Magic. I hope you come, and I hope you will be ready for a magical journey, because it is a really powerful tool. So we've been in here about 90 minutes, and Gmail takes about this long in a webinar. So if there's no other questions that I can answer for you right now, then I'm going to sign off. What I'm going to end up doing is taking the beginning of this webinar and splicing it into the second half, because unfortunately, when I lost connection, it broke the recording as well. So typically it doesn't do that, but I'm going to splice them together and give you a full webinar experience. So I'm going to get that out to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you, you all. Those of you all who have been coming and exploring with me and coming to these webinars, you don't know how much I appreciate that. I really, really do. This is an unprecedented time, and it's still getting weird. Who knows how long we're going to be asked to shelter in place, and who knows what the future is going to have. I mean, we've been looking at spikes, and it looks like it's getting better, and then it starts to turn for the worse. And I think we're all pretty tired of it. But I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay sheltered as much as you possibly can. There is nothing out there that is an absolute that I would want to trade my health or my the health of my family for. So, and I hope you are of that same opinion. So until next week, thanks everybody. Send me an email if you got any questions or you need me to help you with anything. This is how I'm keeping myself busy. So help me help you. Thanks everybody. Looking forward to see you next week. And until then, I'm signing off. Have a great day and a great week, people. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye now.
Thank you so much.
All righty.